hear your thoughts on this. I just wanted to, before I introduce our next speaker, elaborate a bit on some of the points that Ning made. Ning is wonderful to work with because she never sticks to the script. I'm the opposite, so between the two of us, we come out somewhere in the middle. 3 points. One is something she alluded to, which is why Japan. Japan has a long and generally happy relationship with Thailand that goes back actually to the 17th century and the ancient kingdom of Ayutthaya, when there was a town of 2,000 Japanese traders right outside the capital, and one of the governors of the kingdom of Ayutthaya was Japanese. But the main reason is that, as you probably know, Japan is the most rapidly aging society in the world, and others will soon follow. So Japan is really the cutting edge of a massive demographic change that the world is going to see. And because of Japan's very strict retirement policy, there's already an enormous amount of wasted talent, of lost productivity. And I'm always struck as a public policy person when you talk about the demographic trends and the so-called demographic bomb that's coming, is that people talk about the labor force. Look at how every year in so many countries, and Japan is first, but China is going to be next, and Southeast Asia, it's countries that have been marked, that are going to be particularly affected by aging, include Russia, and Germany, and the United States, among others. So this is a global trend. And the discussions of the labor force are all about anxieties about how fewer and fewer young people will be coming into the workforce, but nobody is talking about the totally lost productivity of people who are living longer and have much to offer. So that's really why we want to try and change the paradigm by focusing on this audience, as Ning said, of more than 40 million people virtually next door to Thailand. And that's, by the way, in Japan, more than a third of the population. So it's really a very significant group. We have been conducting discussions with a number of stakeholders who are very, very excited at the idea of this talent coming in. They range from Japanese companies. 69% of all foreign direct investment in Thailand is Japanese. They include the Thai ministries, who would love to have consulting relationships with people, particularly in fields like HR, like finance, strategic management, who can bring their expertise to Thailand. And also, of course, NGOs. We've been in touch with a number of Thai NGOs that are very excited about the possibility of working with us to do training and to spread this model elsewhere in Thailand. So the Japanese, the choice of Japan as the first point of focus is very deliberate. I don't have to tell you also that, and there have been a lot of very disturbing and moving stories in the global media about this, but the cost of living in Japan is very high. And one of the results of this is that retired people often live in a kind of state of genteel impoverishment and isolation. So we want to offer a community of people that they'll be comfortable in, but in an environment that's affordable, that's sustainable, and that really offers them an outlet for their energies and for their talents. And as you probably know also, there's a very thriving industry in Japan called long stay abroad. So a lot of Japanese are looking to spend significant amounts of their so-called retirement years outside of Japan, and Thailand is probably the single most popular venue already. So we hope to capture some of that market. Second point is partnerships with the local community. So many new developments make the mistake of becoming, and especially in this country, becoming a closed enclave, an exclusive enclave that's not open to anyone else. This is going to be a town with no walls. It's going to be an open town, but also a safe town, because there are new technologies. Jasmine and I worked with a Dutch company in China that had developed some very amazing new technologies that enable you to monitor public spaces very unobtrusively, but very effectively. So there's no need to put a wall. You've heard that one before, about the wall. To put a wall around this town. We really want to be accessible to all and bring in lots of different people. And also, as Ning mentioned, food production. We're in a very thriving agricultural area, so we have the opportunity to create a symbiotic relationship with the community. And then the jobs and services of JTMT will also be very much part of the community as a source of income, a source of employment. And the third point, and this is where I'll be particularly involved, is the social enterprise. We want to make JTMT a magnet for learning about sustainability, a model that we hope will be spread elsewhere, both within Thailand and beyond Thailand. We're going to do this in a number of ways. I mentioned partnerships with NGOs, educational and training activities. We really want to have lots of school children coming in. We want to have university students coming in. We want to be a kind of laboratory for sustainability, but not just sustainability, but also for active aging. And this is a very important and a relatively new concept in a field that up to now has been called gerontology. That is, we have a unique opportunity, because we're starting from the beginning, to have a very exciting research population where we can monitor health and wellness outcomes over a long period of time, really, truly longitudinal studies, to see how health and wellness is affected when people are active. Active, not just playing golf or playing cards, but really using their talents, using their brains well beyond the mandatory retirement age. And finally, we're already in some preliminary discussions with UNESCO about creating a kind of museum of sustainability, which would be a kind of a demonstration project on the one hand, but also a place where people can come and learn more broadly about SDGs and about sustainability. So those are some of the aspects I wanted to amplify beyond what Ning told us.